All right. It's the Live Drive Jive Archive with your host, Frank Monday. Greetings, salutations, wizards and wayfarers, warriors and witches, supplicants and mendicants alike. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. It's the Live Drive Jive Archive with your host, Frank Monday, streaking out across your airwaves like a nuclear boogeyman, hiding in your closet, like a viral boogeyman these days, huh? It seems like they've almost given up the old nuclear narrative, but not quite, not quite. They're always trying to paint somebody as the enemy, right? One day it's this guy, the next day it's another guy. One day it's the Taliban, the next day it's ISIS. The day after that, it's the Celestial Kingdom of the Dragon. All the while, the stateside MSN is telling you these childhood fairy tales of a viral boogeyman and a nuclear boogeyman. And all the while, government is allowing hundreds of thousands of them to immigrate into your countries each year to create greater tension for you. So they're like, well, China's the enemy, but let's let 10 million of them immigrate to the US and buy 40% of the real estate in your neighborhood. It's like, really? How does that work? Let's go over and bomb the Middle East for 30 years and then immigrate 5 million of those folks into your various neighborhoods. Is that right? Is that how you treat the enemy of your enemy? And then vilify and point the finger at the American patriot and say, well, yeah, white man, you're the real terrorist, motherfucker. You don't like all these so-called enemies living in the suburbs around you? Well, then you must be a racist. It's a fucking scam and a joke, man. And what prompts this diatribe, dear sir, articulate and eloquent gentleman of the expressway? What prompts you to say such things? Well, I heard a news story yesterday that what is he, a Bolshevik Jew? Soros, one of the number one bad guys stateside that throws all kinds of eyes wide shut, child feasting on your children, raping your daughters, parties. And one of his little succulent beautifuls, tax the rich AOC, got a $30,000 ticket, which she will not pay taxes on, to one of his gala events. And now they're all up in arms. You peasants need to wear your masks and take the toxic sludge. How dare you? It's such a scam. Now they're trying to vilify Xi because he's like Trump, you know, he's going against their system with his own system. He's like, motherfucker, I'm head nigger in charge, and you're acting like you're gonna talk shit to me. Ain't gonna happen. So don't be scammed emotionally into thinking that China's any threat to the peasantry. They're a threat to the elite, and that's the problem. But they're all in bed together. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't drink the MSM Kool-Aid and get your fucking panties in a knot. They tried to pull that scam back at the end of 2019 by pulling out all their embassy folk, nearly all their embassy folk. There were stalwart folks like me, though, that have gone native, so to speak, with their patriotism being a rep of the truly free message of the revolutionary Americans some 200 years ago. I do not bend to the will of the New World Order, and as a result, I'm a rogue player that truly represents the freedom of the American people. I wear my beaver skin cap and have the occasional German beer, an advocate of French Enlightenment, Parisian ideals of a truly people-based system, which is actually what the Chinese people represent. I mean, they were sold a whole pig in a poke with their man from, is it Hunan or Hunan? He's from Hunan, I believe. With their man from Hunan. Where the fuck was he from? I always get Hunan and Hunan confused. Hunan's a little more southern with their capital of Changsha, and then Hunan's a little more west of Beijing anyway, with the Shaolin Temple. I don't even know what Hunan's capital is. Maybe Shijiazhuang. And then when you go a little further south, you got into Shanxi with Taiyuan is the capital, I believe, and then Wu Taishan. So it all blends into various mind states for me. I get my map action a little confused sometimes. That's okay. I am, as you can see, I am running a little late. Well, maybe you can't see it, but it's a fact. I'm running a little late this morning, like 5-10 minutes. As a result, there is an excessive amount of traffic, and the camera mount is just, it's like it's like Joe Biden. The camera mount over here is acting like Joe Biden with Parkinson's or something, and Alzheimer's, shaking its finger at me. Fucking irritating horse shit. Joe Biden. Beijing Biden is what folks like to call him, because he's Beijing's man. They were a little worried that you were gonna, that they wouldn't get Beijing Biden shoehorned in. They were worried about that shit, because Trump was a legitimate American competitor for them, and he was playing it like Xi, off the cuff, fast and loose, with true American ideals. He's a blue blood, but he had a little bit of megalomania, and he's like, I'm really an American. And the Chinese are like, the bigwigs in charge, the money funders in Hollywood. They're like, yeah, we're gonna take away the Americans' Bill of Rights and make them a satellite state of China. So y'all best get in line. And it's gonna be a lot harsher for you guys in the satellite states. Like, we're already under the thumb, so our management is a little more accustomed to this type of control. Whereas like Australia, the UK, the United States, and Canada, now that they've all sold out to the Central Kingdom over here and got Beijing calling the shots, they're going to be harsher on you guys, because you've never experienced that kind of totalitarian rule before. So just, get on your knees, put your mask on, take the vax, go to the camps they send you to, don't fight back. Don't be playing no freedom cards. Patriots are the terrorists. Allow them to reset the economy and shuffle people about. All those immigrant neighborhoods they're setting up around you, don't worry about those. Those are just work camps for the people for the $5 and $10 an hour jobs. So if you're not into McMansion, in a gated community, then just take your fentanyl go dig yourself a 6-footer, because it's game over for you. Game over. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I love y'all good looking sexy people out in Happy Land. I mean, we have gone 10 minutes strong of stream of consciousness broadcasting. I should remind you that we're going deep this morning into the spiritual reality that Shen, or illuminated spirit, precedes the material. So be loving and tolerant of your good-looking, sexy neighbors and so on and so forth. The folks around you in this ball game called reality, because we're all peasants out here in the daily grind. We are the serfs. So did you see their little bartender out there in her Tax the Rich dress, milling about with Joe Biden's granddaughter, you know, laughing at you guys? She was back there giving Hunter Biden a blowjob while he sucked on his glass dick. You know, he had the crack pipe out. She's back there, you know, make sure you put in a good word for the big man for me. And he's like, what, Pops? Joe, he won't even remember who you are, baby. He's not even in control. And she's like, well, are you going to fly me out to Beijing on your private jet so we can go to Mix and Vicks and, you know, get some adrenochrome? And he's like, yeah, we'll do that later, honey. We'll get on the BMW UFO and kidnap a few plebes kids from the woods and then shoot over to Peking, China and get a duck. They're rubbing it in your face, man. They're just fucking rubbing it in your face like a spoonful of hot cat shit under your nose. They're like, you better line up for the toxic sludge, slave. It's a sad, sad joke out there in Happy Land. Y'all good looking, sexy people. Going deep though, what can we do? Do your magic. Ritual incantation. Shit, take a fucking chicken out into the woods and, you know, cut its head off and sling the blood all over Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and AOC's picture. Stab it with your fucking athame. That's what I do, man. Those bastardos need to fucking pay. They need to go to prison. Fauci, the kingpin, the head nigger in charge of the fucking bioweapons lab, he needs to pay. He needs to be brought to justice. The whole Bush family for their involvement in the 9/11 televised sacrifice of American liberties needs to be investigated for their part. The Clinton family and their involvement in the Confucian Institutes and the selling out of the nuclear football to the yellow family over here in the free state of the People's Republic. They need to be investigated. Obama's role with the Clinton family and the Bush family. It all needs to come before, not even Congress. You guys need to fucking just reboot Congress with a bunch of American-born minimum wage people. Bastille Day. America needs its Bastille Day. A new French Enlightenment, so to speak. Take them out into the streets and put them to the guillotine. That's the only way you're going to fix things. I had a friend saying that they were talking about it in Canada, that the the blood-sucking elite needed to be taken out into the fucking street and have a bullet put in the back of their head. High time, long overdue. Alex Jones would always say metaphorically, needs to be done metaphorically. Yeah. Maybe. I think it needs to be legitimate though. Obama promised you guys that he would close Gitmo, and instead he fully expanded it. That alone is treasonous. I mean, if you openly lie under oath like Fauci did in front of Congress, when are you going to call the treason card? Military generals saying, yeah, we've been told by the deep state to notify China if there's an incoming attack, so that the big guy can take cover. You know, if Hunter's over there smoking Chinese fentanyl out of a crack pipe, he needs to be given fair warning so that he can grab a couple of 15-year-old hookers and take cover. Get into one of the dumbs. Because any kind of war is just meant as population control against the poor folk and a psyop against the middle managers. So you guys know the score. You know what's going on. Don't be buying into that happy horse shit. Do not be sold the lie. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. We're really deep in Lovecraft country this morning. This overcast pollution and miasma is just something else. It's very Angelino though. I mean, I grew up in Los Angeles County. I wonder if this guy's actually, yeah, he's going for it? Yeah, he's going for it. Good man. And he's driving a Buick minivan. That's really what I want to get myself. I drove a Buick minivan for a day as a rental, and I honestly really enjoyed it. I drove some other cars too. I did end up driving a Volkswagen, but the guy only let me drive it for like 10 minutes. He's like, let's go around this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, let's get on the highway. And he's like, nah, we can't take it on the highway. And I was like, fuck you, whatever. You want me to buy your car? Let me drive it. Let me rent it for a week. So I'm only gonna buy a vehicle from the companies that actually rent them as well. Because those seem like those are gonna be the ones with the greatest aftermarket repairs and stuff. They've got the most repair shops around town. I've kind of shied off the Borgward for a little bit, just because I don't know if it's going to survive as a company. The Volkswagens, people's car, they've got a pretty good presence here. But, I don't know, they've got a multi-van. That I like a lot. But it's only sold as an import. They don't have any of the ones that are built here with the joint ventures. They're import only. So the tariffs on them are like double. You'd pay double what you would for a domestic joint venture vehicle. And I got to admit, I don't know if it's all that. I mean, the Chinese AIs have taken over so many systems. Like, you know, you guys got to remember, it's not even really Chinese run. You know, everything's AI run. We're looking at these super cities over here. They're going on like 80 to 90% AI run systems for controlling humanity. If the AI pings, they'll shut down an entire neighborhood just based on the AI and send everyone off to a camp. It's got nothing to do with, it's got very little to do with human decision making anymore. And a lot of the systems you guys are under, that's what they're gearing it up for. That's why they're making these mandates, so that they can take these actions on a broad scale in your societies. And if you question the blowback, they just send in the stormtroopers and they say, hey guys, sorry, we're just following orders. And it's like, well, whose orders? And they're like, we don't know, you know, it's coming down from the top. And it's like, well, who's at the top? And they're like, you know, we don't know, it's an AI system. And it's like, well, why would you just follow the commands of an alien presence without even know who's giving you the orders? And they're like, you know, they cut our check every 6 weeks or whatever. That's like if someone came in right now and asked me to do something against my moral standard, I'd be like, no, I'll just walk out. And they're like, well, you'll lose your pay. We'll throw you in prison. I'd be like, so whatever, you know, I mean, fight to the death at that point. Why are you going to go against your moral? The first time you take a step back and go against your understanding of reality, then you're already dead anyway. Why worry about what's done to your physical body after that? You know, some of you may claim, but Master Gao, but you're living under the authority, the crown of authority, more openly than anyone else. And it's like, well, yeah, but I chose to come over here, and I did it as a free choice, and nobody tells me what to do. And it's funny because China doesn't even have a vax mandate. They told everyone to go get it, and everyone that went and got it, you know, that's it. You know, they're not going to fucking worry about it. That's not the way wow, these guys, see, this is this one little section where it really becomes dangerous. But it's okay, like I said, as long as you got your thinking cap on and you're being aware and paying attention, and you slow down enough to let all the fucking idiots do their thing, then you'll survive the exit of Plum Blossom Lane. I'm writing a new short story, and I'm doing research on it right now. Hopefully I'll be able to get enough free time. God, this woman has got 2 German Shepherds, and one of her German Shepherds has got like some sort of hip disease, and she's still got him out running every day. I feel bad for the dog. I don't know, I guess it's what he wants to do, but I imagine it's not any kind of fun running with hip dysplasia or whatever he's got. I don't. A lot of German Shepherds I know suffer from that in their old age. But she's got one on the right that's probably a couple of years younger, and then she's got the one on the left, and he's all grayed out and hobbling along. I didn't raise a lot of dogs. I raised a couple dogs as a boy, but I didn't raise enough dogs to learn everything there is to know about dogs. Wasn't that important to me. When the farmer killed a neighbor down the street from my grandmother's killed the last dog that I raised. I love that dog, and he killed it because it killed like 5 of his pigs or something. It was a Rottweiler, and it got out. It got out twice. I didn't even know the motherfucker was doing it. And he'd come back like a day later or something. I'd be like, hey, Kane, what's up? You know, try to keep him fenced in and at home and shit. And then, he, you know, 2 or 3 weeks later, he'd sneak out again and show up missing for a day or two and then come back. And turns out he was killing all the neighbors' pigs, drinking their blood. Randy little bastard. So I guess he got what he had coming to him. I mean, a pig can run anywhere from $500 to $1,000 depending on what size it is in market value. It costs a pig farmer, though, almost nothing to raise them, you know. It's the antibiotics and the vaccines that they don't really need. That's where they stick the farmer for all the bills, you know. GMO corn feed and stuff like that, Monsanto, Roundup, they're all in it to win it. You could raise pigs, chickens, and goats and sheep all day long for free, basically, if you got a piece of land. But they won't allow you to do that. They're like, hey, we gotta shoot them up with all our meds. There's a med industry. Your pigs might not be safe, bro. Those are feral pigs. You can't take those to market. They haven't been vaxxed. So the false dichotomy's out for the serfs now. You know, why should you be able to stand on your own 2 feet as a free, freedom-loving, gun-toting American when the rest of the world has to get on their knees and submit to the system? That's what you need to fucking ask yourself. Say, hey, is it fair that all the Chinese are enslaved while we're over here enjoying the Bill of Rights? Now that China's in charge with Beijing Biden, we got to fall in line like the rest of the world, like the Chinese, long-suffering Chinese have been doing for the last, how long, what, 2,000, 3,000 years? It's a better system, y'all. You will enjoy it, I promise you. Stay free, motherfuckers. Fight back once in a while. Give a little pushback to the system, little non-violent civil disobedience. I love y'all good-looking, happy, sexy people out in TV land. Let us pray. Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of the light and of the darkness, we adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us a whole team of your divine spirits and awaken our holy guardian angels, the horned God within. Wow, beautiful Porsche parked behind me this morning. A Porsche is a French car, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? They really make a dynamite little vehicle. By the power of your elements, fire, earth, air, and water, the watchmen of the 4 quadrants of the vast material plane, that's all for today. Going deep with Frank Monday on the Live Drive Jive. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the feminine Holy Spirit. Feminine Mary Magdalene, beloved wife and consort, the high priestess of Jesus. What's that guy's name? Yeshua? Nah. He's just the Buddha, Master Lu Dongbing of the 8 Immortals, Odin's son, so on and so forth, Apollo, all of the great gods of our antiquity. they all unite to form what some folks call the one great God, but it's really the many gods. You, me, and the other guy, we're all empowered with the divine spark. Keep alive that divine spark within your breast, right? And stand up for what you know to be right. As above, so below, into the abodes of the future. Y'all good looking, sexy people, stay happy out there in TV land. I will see you next time.